Hi friends, hope you are fine and well. Welcome you all once again to my econometrics classroom. Today, our main focus on discussing the rules of identification in the simultaneous equation system. This is the third lecture comes under the simultaneous equation models. From the previous two lectures, we have learned the meaning, nature and definition of simultaneity, examples of simultaneous equation systems, structural equations and reduced form equations and their coefficients, and identification problem and the different variants of identification problem, etc. Our primary objective is to understand the conditions of identifiability, that is, the order condition and the rank conditions of identifiability. We also examine the test of exogeneity and the test of simultaneity in brief. In the preceding lectures, while explaining the problem of simultaneity, we could understand that the problem of identification creates difficulty in the estimation of such models. Identification logically comes prior to the estimation. Once the equation is identified, the problem of inconsistent estimation can be taken care of. We say a model is identified if it is in a unique statistical form, enabling unique estimates of its parameters. If a model is not identified, then we cannot say exactly what relationship we are estimating. The rank and order conditions of identification provide a systematic routine to determine the identification of an equation in a system of simultaneous equations. To understand it, we introduce the following notations. Capital M represents the number of endogenous variables in the model. Small m represents the number of endogenous variables in a given equation. Capital K represents the number of predetermined variables in the model, including the intercept term. Small k represents the number of predetermined variable in a given equation. The first decision rule for identification is the order condition. The order condition is based on a counting rule of the variables included and excluded from the particular equation. This rule specifies the necessary conditions for identification, but they are not sufficient. There is a possibility that the equation may be unidentified even though the order condition says it is identified. The order condition can be stated in two different but equivalent ways. First definition is that in a model of m simultaneous equations, in order for an equation to be identified, it must exclude at least m minus 1 variables appearing in the model. If it excludes exactly m minus 1 variables, the equation is just identified. If it excludes more than m minus 1 variables, it is over-identified. The second definition is that in a model of m simultaneous equations, in order for an equation to be identified, the number of predetermined variables excluded from the equation must not be less than the number of exogenous variables included in that equation less 1. That is, k minus small k greater than or equal to m minus 1. If k minus small k equal to m minus 1, the equation is just identified. But if k minus k is greater than m minus 1, it is over identified. Now, we have few examples to look at the order conditions of identification. Look at the first example where we have a demand function and a supply function. Demand function is in the form of Qd is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 Pt plus U1 and Qs is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 Pt plus U2. This model has two endogenous variables P and Q and no predetermined variable. To be identified, each of these equations must exclude at least m minus 1 equal to one variable. Since this is not the case here, therefore neither equation is identified. Now look at the second example. In this example, the supply function remains the same, but the demand function has an additional variable IT. Here I represents the income. In this model, Q and P are endogenous and I is given as exogenous. Applying the order condition, we see that the demand function is unidentified. On the other hand, the supply function is just identified because it excludes exactly m minus 1 equal to 1 variable, that is IT. See the example 3 here. In this example, the demand function remains the same of given in example 2, but the supply function includes an additional variable Pt minus 1, that is the lagged values of the price will be an additional variable. Given that Pt and Qt are endogenous and It and Pt minus 1 are predetermined, the demand function excludes exactly one variable, that is Pt minus 1, and the supply function also excludes exactly one variable, that is It. Hence, each equation is identified by the order condition. Therefore, the model as a whole is identified. Now look at the fourth example. Here, the supply function remained the same as given in the example 3. But the demand function includes an additional variable RT representing the wealth of the individual. Now, in this model, PT and Qt are endogenous. IT, RT and PT minus 1 are predetermined. The demand function excludes exactly one variable PT minus 1 and hence by the order condition it is exactly identified. But the supply function excludes two variables IT and RT and by the order condition it is over identified. Identification of an equation in a model of simultaneous equations is possible if that equation excludes one or more variables that are present elsewhere in the model. This situation is known as the exclusion criteria, exclusion of variables criteria, or zero restrictions criteria. This is called zero restriction criteria because the coefficients of the variable not appearing in an equation are assumed to have zero values. This criteria is by far the most commonly used method of securing or determining identification of an equation. But notice that the zero restriction criteria is based on a priori or theoretical expectations that certain variables do not appear in a given equation. It is up to the researcher to spell out clearly why he or she does expect certain variables to appear in some equations and not in others. The order condition is a necessary but not sufficient condition for identification. That is, even if it is satisfied, it may happen that an equation is not identified. Thus, in example 2, that is given above, demand function is equal to QD is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 PT plus alpha 2 IT plus U1 and the supply function QS is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 PT plus U2. So in this example, the supply equation was identified by the order condition because it is excluded the income variable IT which appeared in the demand function. But identification is accomplished only if alpha 2, the coefficient of IT in the demand function, is not 0. That is, if the income variable not only probably but actually does enter the demand function. More generally, even if the order condition k minus k greater than or equal to m minus 1 is satisfied by an equation, it may be unidentified because the predetermined variable excluded from this equation but present in the model may not all be independent, so that there may not be one-to-one correspondence between the structural coefficients, that is the betas, and the reduced form coefficient, that is the pi's. That is, we may not able to estimate the structural parameters from the reduced form coefficients. Therefore, we need both a necessary and a sufficient condition for identification. This is provided by rank condition of identification. The term rank refers to the rank of a matrix and is given by the largest order square matrix whose determinant is non-zero. The rank condition of identification can be stated as given here. In a model containing m equations in m endogenous variable, an equation is identified if and only if at least one non-zero determinant of order m-1 into m-1 can be constructed from the coefficients of the variables, both endogenous and predetermined, excluded from that particular equation but included in other equations. As an illustration of the rank condition of identification, consider the following hypothetical system of simultaneous equations in which the y variables are endogenous variables and the x variables are predetermined variables. You can see four equations here. We can rearrange these four equations as given below. Now, after rearranging it, we can represent the coefficients of these equations in a separate table. Now, let us present the whole system of equation into a table, the coefficients of the whole system of equations in a table here. You can see that the second column of this table represents the coefficients of the constants, and the third column is the coefficients of y1, and next coefficients of y2, y3 and y4, and again the coefficients of x1, x2 and x3 respectively. So using the order condition, we can see that all these equations are identified. That is, all these equations are exactly identified by using the order condition. That is, the number of predetermined variable excluded from an equation, that is k minus k, exactly equal to the number of endogenous variable included in the equation less 1, that is m minus 1. Let us recheck it with the rank condition. Consider the first equation, which excludes variable y4, x2 and x3. This is represented by zeros in the first row of the table. For this equation is to be identified, we must obtain at least one non-zero determinant of order 3 by 3 from the coefficients of the variables excluded from the equations but included in other equations. To obtain this determinant, we first obtain the relevant matrix of coefficients of variable y4, x2 and x3 included in other equations. In the present case, there is only one such matrix. We can call it as matrix A. It can be defined as A is equal to, in this following form, 0, 0, 1 minus gamma 2, 2 minus gamma 3, 2 and 0, 0, 0 minus gamma 4, 3. It can be seen that the determinant of this matrix is 0. By finding the determinant of the matrix, you may get the value is 0. Since the determinant is 0, the rank of the matrix denoted by row of A, rank of the matrix, is less than 3. Therefore, equation 1 does not satisfy the rank condition and hence it is not identified. As noted, the rank condition is both a necessary and a sufficient condition for identification. Therefore, although the order condition shows that the equation 2 is identified, the rank condition shows that it is not. To apply the rank condition, one may proceed as follows. First step, write down the equation in a tabular form. And second, strike out the coefficients of the row in which the equation under consideration appears. Third, also strike out the columns corresponding to those coefficients in 2 which are non-zero. And the fourth step, the entries left in the table will then give only the coefficients of the variables included in the system but not the equation under consideration. From these entries form all possible matrices like A of order m-1 and obtain the corresponding determinants. If at least one non-zero determinant can be found, the equation in question is just or over identified. The rank of a matrix in this case is exactly equal to m-1. If all the possible m-1 into m-1 determinants are 0, the rank of the matrix A is less than m-1 and the equation under investigation is not identified. Now, let us conclude by stating the general principles of identifiability of a structural equation in a system of m simultaneous equations. That is, first one, if k minus k greater than m minus 1 and the rank of a matrix of the A matrix is m minus 1, the equation is over identified. Second, if k minus k is equal to m minus 1 and the rank of the matrix A is m minus 1, the equation is exactly identified. Third, if k minus k greater than or equal to m minus 1, the rank of a matrix is A is less than m minus 1, the equation is under identified. And the fourth, if k minus small k less than m minus 1, the structural equation is unidentified. The rank of the A matrix in this case is bound to be less than m minus 1. If there is no simultaneity problem, the OLS estimators produce consistent and efficient estimators. On the other hand, if there is simultaneity, OLS estimators are not even consistent. In the presence of simultaneity, the method of two-stage least squares 2s and instrumental variables will give estimators that are consistent and efficient. If we apply these alternative methods when there is no simultaneity, these methods yields estimators that are consistent but not efficient. Therefore, we should check for the simultaneity problem before we discard OLS in favor of other alternatives. The simultaneity problem arises because some of the regressors are endogenous and are therefore likely to be correlated with the disturbance or error term. Therefore, a test of simultaneity is essentially a test of whether an endogenous regressor is correlated with the error term. If it is, the simultaneity problem exists. Alternatives to OLS must be used. If it is not, we can use OLS. To find out it, we can use Hausman specification error test. The Hausman specification error test can be explained with the help of an example. Consider the following two equation model where the demand function is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 pt plus alpha 2 it plus alpha 3 rt plus u1. And the supply function is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 pt plus u2t. Assume that the income and the wealth are the exogenous variable and the Price and quantity are the endogenous variable. Now consider the supply function. If there is no simultaneity problem, that is P and Q are mutually independent, PT and utility should be uncorrelated. In other hand, if there is simultaneity, the price and the error term will be of the second equation supply function will be correlated. To find out which is the case, we proceed with the Hausmann specification test. The steps for using Hausmann specification test can be stated as: first, from the above demand and supply equation, we obtain the following reduced form equations. That is Pt is equal to pi 0 plus pi 1 it plus pi 2 rt plus Vt, and Qt is equal to pi 3 plus pi 4 it plus pi 5 rt plus Wt. Estimating the equation 3 using OLS method, we obtain P hat T is equal to pi 0 hat plus pi 1 hat it plus pi 2 hat rt. Therefore, Pt can be represented as the sum of estimated Pt plus estimated residuals. Pt is equal to P hat T plus V hat T, where P hat T are the estimated Pt and V hat T are the estimated residuals. Substituting the equation 6 into equation 2, you get Qt is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 P hat T plus beta 2 V hat T plus U2T. Now, under the null hypothesis that there is no simultaneity, the correlation between V hat T and U2 should be 0 asymptotically. Thus, if we run the regression, the equation 7, that is Qt is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 P hat T plus beta 2 V hat T plus U2T, and find that the coefficient of V hat T is statistically 0, we can conclude that there is no simultaneity problem. Of course, this conclusion will be reversed if we find this coefficient to be statistically significant. The Hausmann test involves, therefore, steps. These steps are: step 1, regress Pt on It and Rt to obtain V hat T. Step 2, regress Qt on P hat T and V hat T and perform a t-test on the coefficient of V hat T. If it is significant, do not reject the hypothesis of simultaneity. Otherwise, reject it. For sufficient estimation, however, some authors like Pindyck and Rubinfield suggest regressing Qt on Pt and V hat T. A statistical test of exogeneity can also be performed to specify which variables are endogenous and which variables are exogenous. The Hausmann test can be utilized for this purpose. Suppose we have a 3-equation model in which 3 endogenous variables y1, y2 and y3. And suppose there are 3 exogenous variables too, x1, x2 and x3. Further, suppose that the first equation of the model is y1i is equal to beta 0 plus beta 2 y2i plus beta 3 y3i plus alpha 1 x1i plus u1i. If y2 and y3 are truly endogenous, we cannot estimate the above equation using the OLS method. But how do we find that? We can proceed as follows. We obtain the reduced form equation for y2 and y3. You must understand that the reduced form equations will have only predetermined variable on the right hand side. So therefore we obtain the reduced form equation for y2 and y3, and from this reduced form equation we obtain y hat 2 and y hat 3. These are the predicted values of y2 and y3 respectively. Then using the Hausmann test, we can estimate the following equation by OLS method, that is y1i is equal to beta 0 plus beta 2 y2i plus beta 3 y3i plus alpha 1 x1i plus lambda 2 y hat 2i plus lambda 3 y hat 3i plus u1i. Using the F test, we test the hypothesis that lambda 2 is equal to lambda 3 is equal to 0. If this hypothesis is rejected, y2 and y3 can be deemed endogenous. But if it is not rejected, they can be treated as exogenous. Dear students, this is the end of this lecture. I request you to repeatedly hear these lectures as many times as you want. If you have any doubt, please contact me. And thank you.